the early mornings at home, we breakfasted on the veranda. That was just a ritual. But before that, my father would take me to smell the best rose of the morning. He loved his roses. And he said, darling, really, a garden's got to make you look round corners. You don't want to see it all at once. I think a garden is so good for the soul. Working with the soil, working with things that are growing. But having said that, if you're going to really go into creating a garden, you've got to remember that it's not your body that's important or so important, or your brain, but as Peter Smithers once said, they need to be in good working order. But it's your eye. It's your eye that will make or break you as a gardener, because you've just got to notice everything. You've got to notice, you can't walk past a plant if it's dying. You've got to notice everything that's happening to that plant, what it likes, and the next one, and how they're put together. And that's every day when you go out to say good morning to them. So it is the eye that'll make or break you if you're putting a garden together. We moved out here in 1964. It was a dairy farm, about 120 acres. There was a small house, a very small house, and a very large paddock. And the driveway was straight down the boundary line, because the fellow who'd had it was a dairy farmer, and he didn't want to waste a square inch of pasture. There wasn't a tree in sight. Malcolm was enormously supportive of what I wanted to do, once he realised what it was. And when I look back, I'm just so grateful for that, because it wasn't usual in 1964 for husbands of wives to be supporting their women in what they wanted to do. Women were there to be breed the children, cook, clean, look after the husband, be there when he came home. And he did say to me, I'll support you, darling, as long as I'm still number one. So I knew that that was one of the rules, and I'm sure he felt he was always the number one. But he also knew, because he was away a lot, he was sensible enough to know that it was great if I had something that was mine, that I took an interest in, and that so when you came together again, it was a partnership. You had lots to tell each other. And I think those sort of marriages are generally pretty successful. After 10 years of being here with the 3 acres and 5 children, that we thought we needed some real help, and the place to get it was England. Yeah, Ollie's been here he's been here forever actually. But it was 30 good years when we began. There was always inspiration, there was always something in your mind. A garden is never a static thing. It needs to go on. So it was either Ollie suggesting something or I would suggest it. And it wouldn't happen overnight. We'd look at it and we'd
argue about it.
Argue, yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the way you get the best, I think.
Although I create the bones of the garden, it's got to be softened. They must be softened. And to have Bev with her artistic flair, and it was wonderful.
But weren't we lucky?
It really was. We were.
Weren't we lucky?
Yes,
I mean,
we were.
that's the way it happened.
We complemented each other, tremendously, really. Yeah.
And we also had a man that paid the bills.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's been a holiday.
It has not. You look at his hands. I never let myself think I was ambitious, because one ambitious member in the marriage is enough, really. But when Malcolm died, sadly, I suppose it wasn't really till after that that I admitted to myself how ambitious I was for the garden. I didn't have any idea that it would meet the acclaim that it has as it's grown older. You sort of don't garden for other people. You garden for yourself because you really want to, and you're committed, and you love the plants, and you like to see them placed well. So it's not a thing you do hoping that others are going to come and see it. But when it happens, and it did quite early on, people started to come, you realise what a joy it is to share it. And that takes quite, that's a very real part of having a garden, is to be able to share it with others. I seldom actually sat down in it. The seats were for other people. That's the so with so many people, you know. You have lovely seats in your garden. They're always for other people. Would I have done anything differently with my life? Absolutely not.